If you suspect that someone is manipulating you, it's important to understand what manipulation looks like, why it happens, and how to protect yourself from it. Manipulation is a form of emotional control where one person tries to influence another's thoughts, feelings, or actions for their own benefit, often at the expense of the other person's well-being. It can be subtle or obvious, but the goal is almost always the same: to control you and gain the upper hand in a relationship or situation. Recognizing the signs of manipulation is the first step toward protecting yourself. Manipulators often use guilt tripping, where they make you feel responsible for their problems or emotional state to get you to comply with their wishes. For example, they might say, "If you really cared about me, you would do this for me," or, "After everything I've done for you, how can you say no?" Another common tactic is gaslighting, where they make you question your own reality or memory. They might deny saying something they clearly said or accuse you of being overly sensitive or imagining things. This can make you feel confused and question your own judgment. Passive-aggressiveness is another form of manipulation, where the person expresses hostility or resentment indirectly, such as giving you the silent treatment or making sarcastic remarks instead of addressing problems directly. Blame shifting is when they refuse to take responsibility for their actions and instead make you feel like it's your fault. They might say, "You made me act this way," or, "If you hadn't done that, I wouldn't have reacted like this." Playing the victim is another tactic, where they exaggerate their suffering to gain sympathy and control. They may say things like, "Everyone's against me," or "No one understands me but you," to make you feel obligated to support them. Trusting your instincts is crucial when dealing with a manipulator. If you often feel anxious, confused, or guilty after interacting with someone, that's a sign that something isn't right. Pay attention to patterns of behavior rather than isolated incidents. If you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells or adjusting your behavior to avoid conflict, you may be dealing with manipulation. It's easy to rationalize their behavior or convince yourself that you're overreacting, but your gut feelings are often more accurate than you realize. Setting clear boundaries is one of the most effective ways to stop manipulation. Boundaries are about defining what you are and aren't comfortable with and communicating those limits directly. For example, if someone frequently pressures you into doing things you don't want to do, you can say, "I'm not comfortable doing that, and I need you to respect my decision." If they try to argue or push back, you don't need to explain yourself. Manipulators often try to find loopholes or wear you down, but staying firm and consistent with your boundaries is key. If they accuse you of being selfish or unreasonable, remember that respecting your own limits is not selfish, it's necessary for your emotional health. Limiting contact with a manipulator can help you regain emotional balance and control. Start by reducing how often you interact with them, especially in situations where they have the opportunity to influence or guilt trip you. Keep conversations short and focused on neutral topics. Avoid sharing personal information, as manipulators often use your vulnerabilities against you later. If they try to make you feel guilty for creating space, stay calm and avoid getting defensive. A simple, "I need some time to myself right now," is enough. You don't owe them a detailed explanation. Emotional detachment is another powerful way to protect yourself from manipulation. Manipulators thrive on emotional reactions because it gives them a sense of control. When you stay calm and detached, they lose that leverage. If they try to provoke you by making hurtful comments or blaming you, resist the urge to engage emotionally. Respond with logic instead of emotion. For example, if they say, "You never support me," you can respond with, "I'm sorry you feel that way, but I've done my best to be supportive." Keeping your tone neutral and measured prevents them from pulling you into an emotional trap. Building a strong support system is essential when dealing with manipulation. Talk to friends, family members, or a therapist about what you're experiencing. Sometimes manipulation is hard to recognize when you're in the middle of it, but an outside perspective can help you see the situation more clearly. Support from people who care about you can also help you feel more confident in setting boundaries and standing up for yourself. They can reinforce that your feelings are valid and that you have a right to protect yourself. Expect that the manipulator may push back when you start setting boundaries and detaching emotionally. They might try to guilt you, increase the intensity of their manipulation, or even resort to anger or threats to regain control. This is a sign that your boundaries are working. You're disrupting their ability to control you. Stay firm even if their reaction is intense. You don't need to defend yourself or justify your actions beyond a simple, clear statement like, "I'm not comfortable with this." If they escalate their behavior or refuse to respect your limits, that's a clear indication that the relationship is unhealthy. In some cases, the healthiest choice is to walk away completely. If the person refuses to respect your boundaries, continues to manipulate you, or makes you feel unsafe, it may be time to end the relationship. This can be difficult, especially if the person is a close friend, family member, or romantic partner. However, protecting your emotional and mental well-being should always be your priority. It's not selfish to remove yourself from a toxic situation, it's an act of self-respect and self-preservation. Ending a relationship with a manipulator might bring feelings of guilt or sadness at first, but over time, you'll likely feel lighter and more in control of your own life. Recognizing and addressing manipulation is not easy, but it's a powerful step toward reclaiming your sense of self. By setting boundaries, trusting your instincts, and surrounding yourself with supportive people, you can protect yourself from emotional manipulation and build healthier, more balanced relationships.